Dear beloved, we are gathered here today, again, to mourn the loss of two dearly disappointing teams, the Winnipeg Jets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. These brave, misguided souls took to the ice with sticks in hand and hope in their hearts. And yet, once again, they have been swept away like beer cups at the end of the third period.
Okay, can you just turn the shit off? End it. I'm done. I don't want to watch this anymore.
This is important. This is all
stop it.
part of the grieving process.
I don't even know why I'm here. I certainly don't want to be here.
It's healthy to grieve and to just
let it go.
And you in that jersey.
Sing it with me. Let it go.
Let it go. I don't want to let it go. I can't let it go. I can let my jersey go.
I like your jersey.
I'm repping a Wheat Kings jersey.
Excellent.
All right.
Jersey
I guess
choice.
I'm going local because
well done.
The hometown heroes didn't do it.
That's true.
I see you have jumped off the bandwagon.
Never lose again.
Yeah, the old Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs.
I gotta represent. Show them the lumber.
You just refuse to die there, eh, big boy?
He's got the eternal Jet jersey, though.
Well, okay, wait. I should say. Speaking of that, if you'll just give me a moment, please.
This is where we gets a little.
It's football season, guys.
Oh my God.
I am ready. Let's go, Bombers. We are hosting the Grey Cup this year, and that is where we are gonna go.
See, I've been bamboozled here. All right, I like that one. That was pretty good.
Sorry.
You told me. Okay, that was good. I'll give you that
They
one.
went from a funeral to a
and go
Go
like that.
Bombers Go.
Argo.
That jersey looked just like all the ones that got tossed on the ice on the last game.
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say, does that look a
Listen,
little familiar to you?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I respect and appreciate you bleed, well, your version of blue and white, but I've just been around that block so many times now. I'm really starting to question my faith. Like I'm not actually ever gonna turn, but good God, boys,
I'm not blue, but I'm blueberry.
it's just
I'm blue, but
It's
I'm
painful.
blue bomber.
gotcha.
I'm blue.
And you're just blue.
Period.
No,
Let's
you're
put a
like
big period.
well, your heart
I'm
and
black
your soul's
and
black.
blue.
Yeah.
My heart is black.
You're suffering
My
the
mood is
eternal
blue.
struggle. You have the most experience at this process. You should probably be leading us into
I
what
feel like
is
I got
next.
chirped in there, and I probably did, but I'm gonna let it slide. All right. Yeah, I don't. So much has been said. I have said so many words that I don't know what to say anymore. But here we are to unpack it all.
We saved a lot of money.
God bless us for getting together and doing the right thing, pulling up our big boy pants and taking it like men. Because I think we all, I sure thought about not coming, not wanting to do this. I'm like, no, I'm not showing up. I am busy that day. But, hey, man, you bite it off, you got to chew it. And this makes the wins that much sweeter whenever they apparently
And
go.
the amount of money we saved not having to go to the Jets-Leafs playoff.
That would have been good.
Stanley
I
Cup
forgot
final.
about that. I was wondering what you were talking about. That would have been good, though.
It would have hurt the pocketbook a bit.
Nevertheless, anyway.
So
look,
the Leafs
I'm
are
second. Come on, let's kick it off with the Jets. This
you
is
want
the
to kick off
hometown
with the
heroes.
Jets?
Well, technically, we were out first, so
Why the people
might
are
as
here?
well.
That's
You
very
guys
true.
pooped the bed
Let's-
well before we did.
Let's get our morning
Just
off,
a little bit different. You
off the
just
books.
had a small little poop in there. We diarrheaed the bed.
So far, we haven't fired anybody.
Yeah, Shannon. Okay, we're not talking about the Leafs, but the Leafs slit their first throat about an hour ago. So the bloodletting has begun. But enough about them. Let's stick with the hometown heroes.
Okay, so I was
Have at it.
I was at the bar on Saturday with some friends watching the game.
Was that the night? Was it Saturday night? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Saturday night. And when things lost, I was like, "Can I get another rum and coke, please?"
Make it
That's
a double.
it? Yeah, just a rum and coke.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not much of a drinker, but I was like, I have to just put a little more in me to.
Big strapping football playing lad like you. What are you talking about?
I did play football in high school.
That's a scary thought.
That is a scary
And you
thought.
made it? You're still alive?
I never got
was
injured
kidding.
once.
What position?
Wide receiver.
Yeah, I
So
was going to
yeah,
say,
exactly.
better be receiver.
I wasn't going to be an offensive
No.
lineman. Quite precisely.
I never even bothered playing football.
No. I saw all my friends walking around in crutches. I said, no thanks.
The heck with that. Anyway,
It's fair.
not here to talk about the Blue Bombers just yet.
But we are avoiding talking about the Jets. I've noticed that.
So the
right.
Jets,
What
they
happened?
were one goal away from having, fulfilling a lot of great destiny, because we all know what happened with Mark Scheifele and his family, which we do wish him the best and our condolences.
I
But
thought you guys played great that game.
we played great,
Overtime.
but
It's
Dallas
a great
stood
game.
on their head in that unfortunate penalty right at the.
I wish we'd gotten a little more overtime out of it. It happened so quick. I don't even think I was sat back down yet. It was like, oh,
I wish they had given a penalty shot for the penalty, and then it just would have been over and done, and we could have gotten back to playing hockey. The 2 minute, I guess Ehlers...
It was going to be a penalty shot because it was pretty much a breakaway.
The commentators said that Ehlers was coming in so fast, the ref couldn't be sure that the Ehlers would have gotten there in time. I don't think Ehlers would have gotten there.
Penalty shot, tough to call.
I thought it was a penalty shot.
I mean, it shouldn't. The first game of the year, last game, playoffs, the consistency should be the same. But it's not, though, and we all know it, including the players and the refs and the coach. So... play within it, but that was a penalty shot in the middle of October or November in Columbus.
Speaking of the refereeing, we talked about this in episode 2, but I think after round 2, it's just further confirmed. The refereeing in the playoffs has continued to blow chunks. Yeah, atrociously bad. I honestly feel bad for you guys because I don't know what the honest flipping God what Florida was getting away with. Seriously,
it was as much as I'd love to. That was not the cause for the Leafs. Loss, but there was inconsistency. Now there often is, but it's highlighted and magnifying glasses put on it in the playoffs. I don't know. And there's
criticism.
There's calls I was whinging about last time that I still want to. I mean, but. I will say it appears that most teams are struggling with the same thing. It doesn't seem to be just aimed at the Leafs or the Jets or anything. Yeah. I mean, there's been weird calls all around. And
well, the redefinition of a kicking motion certainly is a huge controversy and one that nobody...
That is tough because it's a big goal and it changed the momentum of the series or at least the result of that game. So that one is big. I don't know. I don't think it should have counted, but I see the arguments.
I think that they should be a lot more proactive in informing everybody involved what the kicking motion rule is before we get into a playoff series, or when it changes. Right? If you're going to change something,
refs on every game, it's not the same refs for a series.
Yeah, but if they tell us, they're also telling the refs, and then at least we're all on the same page.
It's weird.
Because if the commentators can't figure it out, like Ron McLean, a previous ref, is like...
Yeah, and there was it last night? Was it Aho? Or no, the guy on Carolina. Did you see the kicking or the goal that was kicked in? Right on the line, but and I could see how they were raising hell after it got called a goal, not Carolina. And that one stood. I don't know. It's a tough call. And then the roughings as well, sometimes the refs will let the players, and it's
that Domi roughing call was hilarious. It's beautiful.
It's beyond. It's so comedic that it's so ridiculous that it's funny, and that's just wrong though. It didn't cost us, so I could care less, but it's so ridiculous, especially in the playoffs. And then if you look at all the other crap that went around on both sides, particularly Florida, but it's neither here nor there. It's wild, and it lacks credibility and integrity for the it taints everybody. I mean, the whole league was looking at it.
And it's demoralizing.
What the hell is that?
Right? Every fan base has had a reason to be just ticked off.
That is absolutely true.
And the league doesn't want that. Again, I've said it before, been on the ref side because you guys are true haters, but it's a tough. I empathize with them, the speed, and they can always go back to the VAR or. That's football, European. The instant replay, right? And that does help, slows things down. It's terrible, but at the end of the day, you do want the right call. But some of them you can't. I'm also of the opinion, if you can check on one call, we'll check on another one. If something isn't called on the ice, well, you can't replay that. But if the ref did call something, you can replay whether it was or it wasn't. And I know it's very ambiguous, but there's ones you can... Well, you can and can't.
What really indicates that there's a problem is how long it takes to make a ruling. And it took over 5 minutes for that kick-in goal, which
points because there's no definitive there hanging on the fence.
Exactly.
Even though they know what the rules are, but this is such a big goal, we have to get it right. And they also, it used to be one camera, and then it was 3 cameras, and now I'm sure they got 47 different cameras zooming and thing, and so they got to check all the ones and recheck it.
If the rule was clear-cut,
I don't know.
They wouldn't take another camera. They would look at one camera, know how to apply the rule, and make the determination just like that. But they don't because the rules are so hard to figure out, and they don't have a consistent message from the league as to how to interpret the various things that happen in a hockey game.
The alternative is going back to no instant replay. Can you imagine?
No. Oh, my God.
It's great to get the calls right, but something about the good old days. Well, we are not talking about the Jets here. But anyway, where it stood, and sometimes you'd pull your hair out, but also refs makes a call, and that's that.
Refs make mistakes.
That's the end of it. Like Stevie Eiersman in the '98 World Cup, he was like 2 feet offside. Were you even alive?
Nope.
And I don't know if you were around. If you were watching for then.
Really, you're talking footy?
What, Adam Foote?
No.
Is that what we're talking about? No, not the World Cup. Sorry, the World Cup of Hockey.
Oh, the juniors.
Back then.
World Juniors?
Anyway, no.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. It was the Four Nations back then, but Stevie Y was like 2 feet offside in a 3-game set against the Americans, which they came back and won because Big Kachuk, the dad Kachuk,
Nice.
he was that was the catalyst for the Kachuk brothers fighting this year because they wanted to replicate their dad and everything. But anyway, Stevie Y was 2 feet offside when you looked at the replay, which didn't exist, and it was embarrassing, and Canada got the win. It's a huge goal.
And offside is another example of a rule that was sort of massaged but never explained to anybody because, skating backwards, as long as you have control of the puck, that's all legal. And now,
Seth
you wait.
Jones did it the other night.
Yeah, you don't touch
it until really nuances. And the blatant offsides, but you're perverting the rule when you're getting down to that millimeter offside and the fractions of a second of that was never the spirit of this rule. It was just to get rid of the garbage, blatant offside. I blew that one. Yeah, it's good we had the replay. He was easily offside.
All right.
The minutia, Anyway.
The refs have taken their heat. I'm sure we should probably find something else.
The refs were not to blame for the Jets or the Leafs' shortcomings
It was a major annoyance. And, okay, I'll be 100% honest. Again, historically, I have been a very anti-Leafs person, but I genuinely feel awful for
I had
for
no
you
idea.
guys. No, but I genuinely feel awful for
It's pretty bad.
because I watched Game 6 in Florida, and I was
What a game.
I was like,
And
oh my
what a
gosh,
game.
they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then I remember
This is the year.
I know, but then I remember I couldn't watch Game 7. I was
Next
busy.
year's the year.
I was busy on the night of Game 7, but I looked at the score the next morning, and I just blankly stared at my phone like,
Oh, it's wild.
whoa.
It is wild.
What happened?
And it should have been more. What's interesting is, so I was so peeved after Game 5 when they did the exact same thing, 6-1 loss at home, and I had a camping trip planned for the weekend, and I was going to drive into Boisevan and go to a bar, and I just went, I'm so mad, and there's no way. I'm glad I didn't bet anything. I would have bet the house, the mortgage on they can't win in Florida after what happened. So I go, and I didn't even know for 24 hours after, we had no cell service, whatever, and we were finally left
in the dark.
late Saturday or whatever, and I
grid.
went, oh yeah, I'm back online. And I just see the nightmare, and and initially I went, oh my God, they won, and then my heart just sank because the fan in me got back to reality, and I realized, I'm like, oh God, this is going to be so much worse because it's the leafiest thing ever to put in a
Force that Game 7.
Stanley Cup worthy performance on the road, facing elimination. And all it does is it just gives you hope.
Yeah.
And every year they give us, and we did it with the Bruins all the time, down 3-1. Oh my God, we're in Game 7. Hope. And we've realized now that it is so much worse now. Because you'd rather just
tear
just
it
lose.
away from you.
I would have rather just got blown out in Florida. It's over, whatever it is. But again, it's not like this is one season of. I've seen that. Oh, there's hope. Oh, we can't. Oh, you're telling me there's a chance. This is 6 or 7 years now out of the past 11 where, and then just in a righteous.
See, it was funny at first, and now it's just sad.
Yeah,
honestly, it is sad. I don't know what.
PTSD again.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's not listen, it's a culture problem. It starts at the top. And it's interesting. So, why are we talking about the Leafs? We're not talking about the Jets here.
Let's talk about the Jets.
I'll keep going, but we can
talk about the Jets.
The Jets show.
It's not a Jet show. It's a hockey show.
Okay, so I'm just gonna spitfire these, if I may. Jets completely blew their opportunity in Game 1 because of literally one player, Mikko Rantanen, just had to get a hat trick, and the Jets laid that egg at
and they knew
Game 1.
Rantanen was coming.
And they laid that egg at home in Game 1.
At home.
Which screwed them because if they would have won that game and then contained Mikko Rantanen like they did in Game 2, then this series would have been just tied 3-3 going into Game 7, or they could have been or they could have been a goal away from winning in Game 6. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Two, the horrible kicking motion. I'm still pissed about that.
Yeah.
I won't let it go.
10 road playoff game losses in a row. Dates back to 2023. If we make the playoffs next year, that's now 3 calendar years without a road playoff win. How?
20 games without a road win.
10.
Wait,
And if the whole thing, you count it back all the way back to Vegas, it's 20.
There's no way you got
That's from CBC. I didn't do the math.
CBC said it.
I can't believe it. Like, here's the thing. I lost all hope when we were down 3-1. And then when
there's hope.
And then there's
hope. And then the 4-0, right?
No. When we made it 3-2, I still felt no different. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I cared briefly for about 5 minutes in Game 6 when they were tied and it was getting close, and I was at the bar watching with my friends. And then when Scheifele took that penalty, I honestly, it sounds...
I knew it as soon as
I knew it. I'm like, that's going to bite them in some way.
Anything anti-Scheifele, you know. I knew it. I got to tell you.
I've changed my tune on Scheifele. Now I think he's the best hockey player that ever played the game.
The empathy card does need to be played, but you were railing on that guy so hard after that. I'm like, the old guy's old man just passed, came out, was the only reason you didn't get shut out and you went to overtime. And you could say that for 4 or 5 of the games in the playoffs probably, because the guy was lighting the lamp almost per game. And yet, the hate is real.
Hero.
I would have swapped him out for any of the Leafs, I'll tell you that. And if it's any consolation, the Leafs are nearing 10 Game 7 losses in a row. Not quite yet, but we're right there.
Ouch,
so.
that's a burner.
The thing is, this series, it ticked me off, but it doesn't hurt nowhere near as much. Like, I would just, like, when the Jets lost, I just kind of sunk into my chair just with a...
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't angry, and that's only because we at least won the first round series, and in the most dramatic, amazing, epic fashion. Like, that is my favorite Winnipeg Jets game of all time.
Oh, yeah.
In Game 7, it made up for it, and it softened the blow. If this whole Dallas series happened in round 1 and the Jets were one and done, I would have been ready to
that would have
implode the whole city of Winnipeg.
Nice to ride that lightning for a little while, though. That's the kicks are like when the Panthers came back from Boston after 3-1 as the 8th seed in the play, and then they ran it to the finals. They ran out of gas there, but still, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But it's still pretty good.
There you go. Are you happy now?
I'm not happy about any of this.
We're not happy. I mean, you can clearly see how much we are just out of tune.
I am more resigned. Hockey. You guys have a little bit more rage. I mean, it's just been my life for 10 years, and there used to be extensive amounts of rage.
Actually, I want to ask you, because now that the Leafs are out, so when you look at 2013 Boston, 2016 Washington, 2017 and 18,
whatever, I remember all the Habs, Columbus, Boston,
17 Capitals, 18, 19 Bruins, 20 was Columbus, 21 was Montreal, 22 was Florida,
Boston,
and
Senators, and then last year was Boston in 7.
So sorry,
you can say what's the worst
out of all the Game 7s? Which one filled you with the most rage from 2013 Boston to now?
Yeah, no, that's easy. This is not even really asking me that.
Is it 2013?
I think it was 2013 or 14. It was the 4-1 lead in the third with 12 minutes left, and then Horton scored, and then anyway, and my mom's texting me, "We're gonna do it!" with like 5 minutes. Oh, my mom's banned ever since. My mom knows she can't. She's been banned. But that one was. I'm getting hot right now thinking about it.
I'm just curious just to know how you reacted when that happened.
Oh, it was rage. My girlfriend and her girlfriend who were there, they left my place quickly, and she was not pleased with me because I was. No, I was in
I don't blame you at all.
A rage, in an absolute rage, and yes, how it happened, but hey, sometimes things happen. But it's Boston.
Yeah.
And it's Marchand, and it was Bergeron, and goddamn Lucic was running around, and he actually put one in with, and that crowd, and Lucic.
I bet you never.
Marchand is still there.
I bet you never want to hear the Boston goal horn ever again. That must give you PTSD.
And what's his name is in net?
Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't Thomas. It might have been Thomas back then. I don't think so. I think it was Tuukka.
I think Thomas had retired by then.
Who, of course, was a Leafs prodigy, and we traded him for Andrew Raycroft.
Oh my God!
For one season of Raycroft, who was
Tim Thomas is
average.
a Stanley Cup champion.
Oh yeah, and then you guys got some weird looking Finn. Named Tuukka Rask, who kind of looks like a rat. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, get rid of this guy. He's funny looking. Looks like a troll.
How great that was. I mean, to be fair, Tuukka Rask is not a Stanley Cup champion, but they got close.
Yeah, he is. No, they won one. Tuukka?
I don't know if
the laptop.
He might have been a backup in 2011. But
all right, maybe
when he was the starter.
I don't know about a starter.
When he was the starter,
I thought he did win one. Back when Chara and them were. I mean, it was only 5-6 years ago.
I will fact check this.
I don't know. I try to not think about.
Well, my comparable losing story for Winnipeg is way back in Jets 1.0. We were rivals against the Edmonton Oilers, and we had
up
never.
3-0.
Yeah, and we got them 3
Jets.
games to 0.
You guys blew a 3-0.
We sure did.
I want to talk.
Sorry, yeah. So Tuukka Rask was on Boston in 2011, but he was a backup.
Factual statement, though.
So yeah, no, he does have a ring, but he was never a ring as a starter.
Fair enough.
So
Anyway, that was probably the biggest rager. But there's lots of other. I mean, we were up 3-1 on Montreal and blew it in there, and Columbus was terrible. And in Game 4, facing elimination, we scored 3 goals in the last 2.5, 3 minutes. Do you guys remember that one?
I remember that one. Yeah,
and then to tie it up, and then Austin blast home the winner in overtime, and how about we ride that momentum into and then we just shut out on home ice.
They don't hate to lose.
The next game.
Same thing against Montreal the year after.
Oh, it's just a crappy goal by Campbell, and that was it.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's the Leafs organization, or do you think it's the media and the fan base putting so much pressure on the team?
It's a collective everything. There's been a lot of chatter about that. First of all, Shanahan just got bounced like an hour or 2 ago. So Brendan Shanahan was officially let go by the Leafs. Interestingly enough, the Islanders requested permission yesterday to speak to him, so he's in talks with them.
They're further going to
They're not
their
going to
franchise.
speak with him. I mean, they need an experience. They just lost Lamoriello from the Islanders, so they need somebody, and they need somebody with experience. Apparently, they don't need someone with a track record. But look, he's super respected. So he's gone, so that's great. And then Marner will follow, and we'll see what else happens.
They had to do something. People were throwing beer on the ice.
And
It's pretty bad.
Probably 3 or 4 years ago. Give time for the Shanaplan and Dubas, but 3 or 4 years ago, this wasn't working.
What's your verdict on Mitch Marner? Stay or leave?
All right, so we're going to get to
every year
that.
we do this.
Let me just say though, it's been fascinating with Shanahan there for 10 years, and look, he tore the roster down to the bones when he came. I mean, we were fielding like an AHL roster for like at least 2 seasons. It was awful, but anyway, tore it down, and it's just playing. Well, on the ice, he's one of the most respected players, in history. He's be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he's not already there. Several cups. He was the glue. He was the key to the Red Wings when you had Yzerman and who was it Larionov or Fetisov? Lidstrom. But anyway, they just couldn't get over that hump. Super talented, and then he came and he's a dog, right? Florida couldn't get over the hump, and then they got the Kachuk, right? It's that thing. So he's the epitome of everything you want in a hockey player and a playoff player. But then what he built in Toronto and his channel, it's the exact opposite. You're drafting Marner and Willie and Austin. I mean, you didn't have a lot of choice in some of those, but these are not dogs, right? These are not character guys, and our lineup's been traditionally soft. We don't have the Marchand. We don't have so it's just a really interesting, I feel, dichotomy based on who he is and what we just assumed with no education. But well, obviously he's going to build what he is. And it didn't work that way. And our number one problem is culture and softness and not knowing how to win.
I think to expand on your softness, I think this is another playoff example of the toughest team wins. Winnipeg
Absolutely.
could be considered a soft team as well.
Maybe now, but I thought you were heavy.
Not ever since Buff left, our tough. Well, Buff and Trouba gone.
Yeah,
our tough.
I know.
Went
Trouba he laid waste.
Trouba was
after
a
he
dog.
left Winnipeg.
Bufflin was one of the most feared and respected players ever.
I know. We lose our toughness. Well, guess what? You're going to lose the game.
But you were so consistent all year, and you were tough, and you always came back. And
the regular season isn't anywhere near as tough as the playoffs.
It's a whole season. Like the Leafs will look like world beaters, but we're always waffling up and down all season.
But Marchand's going, I could lay him out, but I'm going to wait till the playoffs. And everybody follows the same line. You know what? I could deck him, but I'm just going to not bother. It's only regular season.
Did you guys lose 2 games in a year this row?
Oh yeah,
two games in a row. Yeah, we did. But it was rare. And whenever we would suffer a small losing skid, we would rebounded
right away.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11 game winning streak. Yeah. It was nuts.
But it's regular season.
Toughness
isn't measured in the regular season. It's measured in the postseason.
I'm glad at least we have some trophies to look back on. Like, yes, we won the President's Trophy. We have...
we had hope.
We have the Jennings. We have...
So much hope.
The Vezina.
Congratulations,
we have a potential...
I know.
Well, no, we have
so much
a potential... Let me speak. We have
one cares
the
about
Vezina. We have a potential Hart candidate. No, we have that playoff series, but we can look back on the season where, yes, it was there was something good to look back on it, even though it didn't go the way we want.
We padded a lot of resumes.
That's true. The challenge is when you're finding the good of a season to look back on, that means it didn't go so well.
But because the Stanley Cup is is the hardest trophy to win in all of sports, you have to kind of take these little small victories.
The Leafs won the Atlantic this year.
That makes you feel
really
good,
proud of them for that. I'm gonna hang my hat.
Well, hey,
on
the Jets,
banner, don't you?
No, I'm happy the Jets honestly finally won the Central Division because last year in 2018 we had insanely good teams, but we had to have that one team that was just better than us. We were finally the best one and best team in the whole Western Conference too. So we can at least have some modern 2.0 Jets banners hang at Canada Life Center.
Yeah, we had a great regular season, but we can't bring it to
so
the
did
post.
the Leafs.
Exactly. We have the Leafs and the Jets have so much in common.
Our time is running thin. So how about we propose something for next season?
Nice.
Why don't we make a pact?
Okay.
We will watch and invest ourselves in our teams, in the Jets and the Leafs in the regular season, and then we'll make a pact that when playoffs come, we turn off our TVs, we mute our social medias, and we just pretend like the playoffs don't even exist.
Just ignore them entirely.
The regular season is the whole season.
I was chatting.
You will be so happy after that.
With the boys the other night, my buddies, and one of them said, my best friend, and I don't know if I agree, but he's like, look, I'm tired of this crap. I would rather not make the playoffs than have to deal with this. And it was crazy. But I resonate.
There's a small part.
Yeah, I'm really sick of this crap. And it's just not worth it. The emotional heartache, that I put in. And I get pissed off and it affects my relationships.
I think I have a counter to that. When Byfuglien was on the ice laying waste to people, I did not care if we lost because I enjoyed watching him trash right? And it gave you that, hey, we may have lost on the scoreboard, but we won in our fans' hearts. And that's the whole essence of hockey right there.
I'll watch Leaf games because, look, ton of talent up top on the Leafs with Marner and Willie and Matthews, whatever. And they do stuff in the regular season in, like, February in Columbus on a Wednesday that you're just like, holy cow. And, they might lose, but God damn, it was an entertaining game. And you're seeing breakaways and one-timers and this and that. You're like, all right, that was a great game. But not seeing it when it counts
demoralizing.
Is maddening.
Right.
And it just makes me want to throw myself off a bridge. And the stress, and then the hope, and then you're back, and then you're down, and then you're back, and and then your schedule, and you know what's going to happen. So it resonates a lot. He's like, I'd rather just not make the playoffs. If we're not going to at least make the finals, I don't even want to be there. And that's pathetic.
So I think we've grieved. We have a minute left. Let's quickly wrap this up. What are each of us going to do to console our feelings, and what are we going to do over the summer until we inevitably come crawling back in October?
That's an easy one. I'm going to watch every episode of Shoresy all over again. It's the best hockey relief that there possibly could be.
I'm going to be going to several Blue Bomber games and going to go to the Grey Cup in November because it's being hosted in Winnipeg. Nice. Greg?
I was not prepared for this question, so I haven't.
Sorry, we are kind of putting you on the spot.
My gut instinct, I'm just going to rage drink, boys.
Nice.
And I'm really not kidding to say that humor. Like, all I can think, I'm just going to rage drink. I'm just going to pound them until the
October.
Pain either goes away or I do something so horrific. The
you wake up in the drunk tank.
Is the least of my problems.
If you wear your Leafs jersey, the cops will leave you alone. Because they understand.
So welcome to life as a fan of Canadian hockey teams.
Yeah.
Another year.
Playoffs are over.
I
will say,
let's go Oilers.
Go Oilers. Honestly, I wish my best wishes to the city of Edmonton and the Edmonton Oilers.
Great meltdown last night.
Please, for the love of God, just please bring it home for Canada. Just please, because we failed. It's on you now. No pressure, but it's all on you now. Anyway.
Oh, AI Psychic. Before I checked an AI Psychic last night. It popped up, and Leafs next year's the year, boys.
Next year. My AI says the Jets are going to win next year. So your AI, you must be stupid.
All right. Well, we shall see. But thank you very much for watching the third and final hockey episode for the Roundtable Battlefield in 2025. Thank you, Craig, for taking your time to come down. No bueno
this year. Yeah.
So from Cullen, Craig, and Kevin, we hope you enjoyed watching, and we will see you next time. Yeah, and we will see you next year.
Begrudgingly.